Hello, my name is Kinsey, and I'd like to take a few minutes to answer some questions about the dynamic of my group and the experience that I had during this assignment. To begin, I do think that this group was different than really any group that I've worked with, just because we went from an online format to an in-person format, whereas typically when you work on a CLC, you have been around these kids in lecture before, you're kind of familiar with their face. Whereas whenever we met up for the first time in this instance, I didn't know any of these kids going into it, but it ended up being a really good experience. That brings me to the point that I think that we did start as a group, but upon meeting, we formed roles and gave out responsibilities, and everybody gained an understanding of their place in the assignment, and that caused us to become a team. We did have specific structure within our team, such as having an observer and having a team leader at every meeting. And then to answer the next question, we did take on different individual roles. So for instance, I was the organizer. I was responsible just for scheduling, formatting things, making sure that everybody aligned and could come together. Braden was our team leader, so he just guided the meetings, made sure that we stayed on track. And then Hayden and Ryan were our analytics, so they had a lot of knowledge about stocks, which is good because some of us, like me, did not have as much knowledge about stocks. There were some norms that were established within our group. For instance, a formal norm that was established was our meeting times. So we would meet on Thursday afternoons for about 15 minutes every day. And this worked really well for us, but that was a formal norm because it was set in place and it was structured. And then some informal norms that we had, what I thought of is that whenever we would start our meetings, we wouldn't jump directly into the assignment. We would talk a bit about how our days have been going, kind of warm up to each other. And I think that was really beneficial for the environment of our group and helping to establish more cooperation amongst us. Attendance was really good. Everybody showed up to all of the meetings. Whenever our group leader, Braden, was the observer, you could definitely tell a shift in the dynamic, which was not what we were used to. We were used to him guiding the meetings, but it still worked out really well. I think that everybody pulled their weight pretty great throughout the assignment. Status, that was kind of how status was distributed. Obviously, Braden, since he was the leader, he had a little bit more power than the rest of us. So if there was a dispute, there weren't really many disputes, but like if there was a dispute, then he would be the one to be like, okay, well, we need to think about this, and ultimately this is our goal, so we need to make this decision to stay on track. But I would say that our leadership structure was very democratic because no voice was particularly overpowering the other ones. I think that we were all very respectful of each other's ideas, and we kind of came to conclusions together, which was good. For the interaction patterns, we went through the cycles. So we had the forming process where we all formed together and established roles. And then we had the storming process where we were brainstorming. We were kind of trying to figure out like what stocks do we want to do. Is this a smart decision? Should we do this? Should we be more risky with this? And then we had the norming where we were well established. We were like, okay, this is what we're doing, and this is our roles in our group. And I think that we all kind of came to a mutual conclusion that we were like a little bit more conservative with our decisions, but we did still make some high stake decisions when it came to stocks that we didn't have as much information about. But overall, I think that we all had pretty similar approaches when it came to that. I would say that we had a pretty structured agenda. We'd come and we would know what we were going to be working on that day. We would kind of like text about it beforehand, come, and then we would stick to that. It's not like we had it like listed out like, oh, we need to do this, but we had a pretty good idea of like what we needed to address whenever we came to work together. And I think that we overall were successful. And I think that we were an effective group and we worked well together. Everyone was respectful. I think that we did well and came to a good conclusion on the assignment. I would say that that's probably what I was most pleased with, is I think that I got a really good group of people, and I think that out of the groups that I've worked with, everyone was really nice and cooperative, and we did make good decisions. I guess that I would change a few of the decisions that we made about the stocks, or just be more informed before making those decisions. Another thing is that we did have some misunderstandings about the assignment earlier on, and I think if we would have gone in with a deeper understanding of what we were doing, I think that that also would have benefited us and made us more successful. But I think that we did a good job still. Yeah, overall, I think that it was a good experience, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Thank you.